This video is being made to expose a gigantic pharmaceutical deception that is even destroying the life of one of our most precious entertainers, Celine Dion. Some time ago, Celine Dion was medically diagnosed with Stiff Person Syndrome, a rare, mysterious, supposedly incurable disease, and she was told that her only option was to take pharmaceutical drugs to manage her symptoms until the day she died. But this prognosis is absolutely, completely untrue, because the truth is that her extreme stiffness is actually caused by excessive release of the muscle stiffness hormone noradrenaline, which is the same hormone that causes muscle stiffness and spinal distortions in Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, respiratory sarcoidosis, fibromyalgia, and another 19 diseases identified by the same symptoms, which are a group of diseases classed as rigidity autoimmune diseases, the symptoms of which are all provoked by an excessive release of this muscle stiffness hormone noradrenaline. It's my opinion that these 23 diseases are only classed incurable to keep patients unwell and keep them taking drugs until the day they die, just to maximise drug sales. It's my opinion that this is the biggest scam in the history of mankind that even causes celebrities like Celine Dion to suffer a long drawn-out hell due to many of them having to endure pain every time they take a breath or even just turn their head to try and look behind them. You can see this pain in my success videos of Betty Green from Colorado and Subhash Quatra from India, who are told to just keep taking their drugs even though they don't really help, while being totally neglected by the medical profession. Because big pharma executives do not want these truthful causes known by the patients and known to the public, they claim that the symptoms are caused by a mystery, incurable, underlying disease that nobody can find. This is, without any doubt, one of the biggest scams in the history of mankind, and from the time it began in 1868, it has caused more people to suffer a horrible, long, drawn-out death than the number of people who suffered in all our wars. How could a doctor and a neurologist possibly miss that this Parkinson's patient was suffering from malnutrition? This first patient had so many problems in his cervical spine he could no longer swallow solid foods, and his stomach, small intestine, gallbladder and pancreas were suppressed so much that juices and soups he was fed through a straw weren't being digested and absorbed efficiently anyhow. All of them were putting up with a long drawn-out suffering that was leading them into a horrible premature death, and it's important to realise, apart from their 5 musculospinal problems, they all had mental and emotional challenges that pharmaceuticals can never correct. All 7 of these patients were going through a suicidal hell, just like Dr. Panetta, and nobody seems to care. All of these patients commented that their pharmaceutical medications did very little for them, and if they did benefit, any positive effect they experienced wore off after a year or so anyhow. All of them were putting up with a long drawn-out suffering that was leading them into a horrible premature death. All 7 of these patients testified that their neurologists couldn't offer any positive encouragement and didn't seem to know any useful information that could help them regain their lives. If you listen closely to the many videos on the internet of neurologists and movement disorder specialists explaining Parkinson's disease and the symptoms thereof, the only advice they give to patients and their loved ones is how they can all deal with the patient's slow demise. They only seem to be there to prepare patients for their death and to prescribe drugs. None of them say anything to promote treatment that actually works, even when that treatment is based on medical findings that are confirmed by many before and after patient success videos. I believe the authority to treat these patients should be taken away from neurologists and given to specially trained chiropractors working with the BA10 integrative program. If you have a loved one diagnosed with Parkinson's disease or a disease with similar symptoms, you need to scrutinise this situation very carefully. You also need to totally ignore anybody who tells you Parkinson's symptoms are caused by a mystery, incurable, underlying disease. Firstly, because that destructive advice goes against Christian ethics and the Hippocratic Oath. And secondly, because that is very easy to prove totally incorrect. In order for me to prove my point, I am willing to treat a number of Parkinson and MS patients in a public setting, providing I can have a Christian pastor present to confirm the scriptures I'm working from. Now I'm going to show you what I opinion to be proof that health officials are well and truly cheating us all out of the cures for these rigidity diseases to actually cause the suffering you just saw in those 7 debilitated patients. The following video clips show the amazingly quick success I'm often achieving by treating these Parkinson, MS, sarcoid, stiff person syndrome and other patients with similar symptoms using notes I found in Dr. James Parkinson's 1817 book, Essay on the Shaking Palsy. Although health officials want nothing to do with Dr. Parkinson's discoveries, and in my opinion the reason is these curative discoveries will hinder drug sales, and that's all they seem to care about. The first patient in this next section of patients I want to show you, Barry Black, was diagnosed 30 years prior to me meeting him, so he had been suffering all that time before I got to help him using Dr. Parkinson's book. Here it is here. Essay on the Shaking Palsy, available through Kessinger Publishing's Legacy reprints. And being able to walk again in only a matter of days, like this.
G'day!
Righto, Barry, this is day 5. Take a walk down the end there. You're getting a bit cocky now, mate. Righto, away you go. Obviously you're very happy with the improvement, mate.
Yes, very, yes.
My next client, Rigu, had problems with both hips, which caused him problems turning around and standing up out of a sofa. And he also lost his ability to write and do buttons up at times when he was stressed out.
Now turn around and come back to me. Okay, that's right. Turn back and go and sit down. I just want to see how you turned when you were asked quickly. Yeah. So, best thing for... Okay, that's good.
I can't. I just can't write my surname again.
Can you write bigger? If you write really big, that's better.
No, it goes smaller, however much I try.
Oh, I see. So you start off all right.
Yeah, but I can't
You can't continue on.
No, I can't.
Now watch the incredible transformation in Rigu, which my new treatment brought about, when he reached full remission in only 5 days.
Do that again. That was good.
Yeah, man. You jive.
You're just showing off now, aren't you?
Yeah. I couldn't do that before.
See, that's the test. If you put your hands on your head and walk,
Oh, goodness.
so you...
I've written 3/4 page, man. Never thought I could go that far.
So you're really happy about the fact that you can write again?
My wife will not believe it when I tell her.
Always thinking about you said in your book.
Yep.
That the trouble is you don't have dopamine, and the truth is false.
That's correct. It's false.
It's
It's
false.
wrong, yeah.
When I read about surgery, deep brain,
Deep brain stimulator.
I said it's impossible that you think that it's good, when you are destroying the brain
What?
with electricity or another kind. You put the cells inside,
Las madres,
other cells.
las células madres.
Mother cells?
Other cells, and people put inner cells inside the brain.
Siempre hay células madre.
I think that it's impossible that the eight cells go to
fix it.
Nigra to create
Que va a crecer la
dopamine.
sustancia.
It's incredible. I have problems in the neck.
Yep.
And
The spine.
Yep.
The spine.
Yep.
And then, well, maybe have a relation with my Parkinson's.
But now-
when I read all the book, I am happy to know you and your temperament. I feel better.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you very much.
I think that is good for other people and know this kind. I try to study more English because it's necessary to all people know your temperament in my field too.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much.
Ya está vacío.
Ahí sí. Oye, aquí vamos a estar un rato y luego...
O voy a tener este cuarto y a ver qué pasa con él.
El 222. Muy bien. He's the nurse from him.
You're the nurse?
He's a doctor.
Yes, I read that.
Okay, and he worked all
But
the
not
time
every-
with him.
You're a lucky man.
For 30 years.
Yeah?
For 30 years.
30 years together.
Wow. Antonio, you mind if I call you Tony?
Sí, dígale que sí, yes.
Hi, Tony. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And welcome to the program. Each of the 7 days has a theme. Today's theme is prostaglandin and histamine, the 2 hormones of blood flow. And yes, tomorrow's theme is peace of mind. When the body has Parkinson's, MS symptoms, it starts with something wrong in your thinking that interferes with REM sleep, which releases too much noradrenaline, which makes the muscular system go really tight,
Y que todo el sistema nervioso se contrae.
and thinking that releases noradrenaline is thinking that reduces the release of prostaglandin and histamine.
Que tiene que reducir la estamina. Y la pro-
Do you understand that as a nurse?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now I want you to walk over to the bed and turn around and walk back.
Lo que quiero es ver si usted puede caminar y que camine, dé la vuelta y se regrese.
So you have to take little steps.
Tiene que hacer pasitos chiquitos.
Now turn around there.
Dese la vuelta. Dese la vuelta, doctor. Regrésese.
So you have trouble turning around?
Ajá. ¿Sí tiene?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Done.
Es todo. Respire, doctor, respire.
Take a really deep breath and hold it for the count of 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out and relax. Relax and then try it.
Relájese y trate otra vez de caminar.
Do you want the walker?
¿Quiere caminar?
Yes.
Yes. Well, oh my goodness, he's jogging.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's really good. That's really good.
Sarah Inez Sorrells Cunningham,
Okay.
and I was first diagnosed in 2001 by Dr. Bala Maniam at Scott and White in Temple, close to Waco, north of Austin.
What is your worst symptom now?
Pain in my lower back and tremor or jerking in my left leg, numbness in my feet.
Inability to jog or walk? Stand in front of the fridge. Okay, so you're a very slow walker at this point.
Yes.
All right. Now I want you to take one step forward away from the fridge. All right, so your left hip
leg
seizes up, does it?
Yes, it doesn't want to go.
It doesn't want to go. So I want you to pat yourself on your head, on top of your head with your left hand. Rub your tummy with your right hand. Now I want you to swap over. Pat your head, rub your tummy, and now take the step forward with your left foot. All right, now look down. I want you to put both feet in line with each other, but not next to it. That's good. Now, Sarah, I want you to take a little walk across the unit here. Do you need your walker to do that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, away you go now. That's it. Okay, Sarah, now just turn around and then come back this way. So the turning round seems to be your most difficult task.
Yes, it is. I don't want you to leave.
I want you to stand up with your back to the fridge.
I'll try to.
No.
There you go.
I will.
Remember what God tells us about faith?
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
There you go. I want you to let go of your tension. Now I want you to walk, follow me, and walk exactly how I walk. Enjoy the walk. Enjoy the walk. Alright, now, I want you to go back to the fridge and start again. However you want, I want you to go back to the fridge and start again. Concentrate on lifting your knees when you want to turn. Lift the knee and place the foot. That's better, that's better. Feet apart for confidence. That's it. And concentrate on the knees. Lift your knees. Let this go. This is like steel. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it all drop. Be straight and let go the tension. Let it go. God's ways are gentle. You can't be gentle if you're tense. Follow me.
Remember, it's not how fast, it's the accomplishment.
Now, does that feel a lot better than the first time you went? Now you're going to do it even better again.
If you're taking a step with your left foot, you have to shift your weight. So when you go forward now, you're shifting your weight to your left side, to your right side. So it's all about the balance. The balance in the way you walk, the balance in the way you think. Feel the muscles go free, and away we go. Shift your balance, like Jody said. There you go. This is day 4. You've blown us all away with how much you've improved. You must be very happy, eh?
Yes, excited.
I mean, okay, so let's see how easy it is for you to stand up and turn around on the spot. Real easy. Goodness me. And so you,
to twirl?
so you can
Fly.
so you can put that walker away now real easy. A lot easier and quicker than you did before. There you go. Goodness me.
Done with that.
All right, take a wander over here for us and take a walk, and there you go, and past over near the beds there, and turn around, so and bend over, touch the floor.
Almost.
Okay, could you do that last week? You couldn't.
All we can say is, together, the Lord has given you and Jody a great amount of wisdom. Thank you that Sarah's got an attitude to receive it. Yeah. To be able to function once again as God created her to be.
All right.
These rigidity autoimmune disorders are not incurable, providing therapists are willing to learn new concepts in natural health that enable us to find all the body's breakdown factors responsible for every symptom experienced, and using a completely new treatment approach that focuses on the patient as an emotional being and the intricate condition of hormones, nerves and muscles that enable us to function the way we want. Now I'd like to read from 3 medical reports, which is only a drop in the bucket of all the reports available, which explain lack of dopamine and substantia nigra cell death have nothing to do with the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Here is one medical report that covers 4 autopsies carried out in Japan. 4 autopsies reveal even the worst debilitated Parkinson's patients who suffered dementia did not have substantia nigra atrophy. Macroscopical examination of the brain disclosed slight depigmentation of the substantia nigra and prominent depigmentation of the locus coeruleus in all 4 cases. The second is from the University of Copenhagen. Neuroscience researchers have gained new knowledge about the complex processes that cause Parkinson's disease. In spite of dopamine cell death, which they're only presuming here because the patient's still alive, there are no signs of a lack of dopamine, even at a comparatively late stage of the process. Here's another one. This is submitted by Dr. Ronald Mandel of the Florida University, who carried out gene therapy to try and reinstate damaged cells in the substantia nigra. For a long time we've known that if the cells that produce the chemical dopamine died, then you would get the effects of Parkinson's disease. Once again, he's only presuming this because he hasn't done his research. Research is therefore focused on trying to save those cells, but when we were able to do so, we still saw all the signs of the disease. This Mandel report was published 17 years ago, and it is absolute medical proof that lack of dopamine and atrophy or death of the dopamine-producing cells in the substantia nigra is not the cause of Parkinson's symptoms. if we suffer from an emotional stress problem that we can't solve, or we're stressed by being a non-stop workaholic, we continue to release excess noradrenaline until eventually the excess neck tension caused pulls the C1 vertebra out of alignment, and it then becomes turned or subluxed, as chiropractors call it, and that is where things begin to go wrong in our muscular system and in our health. The longer this subluxed C1 twists the medulla spinalis, the more it causes the locus coeruleus to release excess amounts of noradrenaline, and the more a patient will develop that stiff, robotic walk that we associate with advanced Parkinson'S. Okay, so now let me explain that on my whiteboard diagram here. So here's the C1 vertebra and then the C2 vertebra, and this is the brainstem that extends up to the base of the brain, and just above the C1 vertebra is the medulla, and then above that is the pons, and the locus coeruleus is inside the pons. And if we go up further, above the pons is the midbrain, and inside the midbrain is the substantia nigra, which releases dopamine. And dopamine, nicknamed the hormone of love and happiness, is only released into the body to help the body relax when we're happy and loving. Any number of nerve-squashing abnormalities that are created in the body, such as an excess release of the muscle tension hormone noradrenaline, skeletal dysfunctions such as a C1 misalignment or a curvature, or a lack of oxygen, etc., nerve neurons won't fire as efficiently, and autoimmune symptoms will begin to develop. These nerve-squashing abnormalities can be triggered from anywhere between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala in the brain and the locus coeruleus in the brainstem, where both conscious and unconscious activities take place, and the muscles, glands and organs experiencing the symptoms. Now I'd like to show you a chiropractic journal on multiple sclerosis that shows chiropractic can sometimes help. This is the Journal of Vertebral Subluxation Research 2002, Book 4, pages 22 to 30. A 46-year-old female who had multiple sclerosis for 2 years had chiropractic adjustments over 8 weeks to correct vertebral subluxations in her spine, and she experienced remission. A follow-up examination carried out 2 years after her initial success revealed that she had remained free of her original symptoms. It was also discovered that spinal cord lesions found on her MRI had subsided by the end of this 2-year period. This journal supports my belief that lesions have absolutely nothing to do with Parkinson's or MS, and that they're caused by extreme muscle tension and vertebral misalignments, which is why on autopsies lesions have been found in people who have never experienced any Parkinson's or MS symptoms. There is another medical journal published in 1985 that details the effect of emotional stress. The Journal of Psychosomatic Medicine, Volume 13, pages 26 to 48.
Fear, fright, or emotional upset almost always precedes the onset of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis. That brings a scripture to mind that relates fear and emotional stress to tremors. Job 4:14 says, "Fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones to shake." Interesting, isn't it? The neurologists are also taught to do an MRI to look for lesions on the brain and spinal cord to help them make a diagnosis of Parkinson's or MS. This search for lesions in recent times, however, has become quite confusing for medicos because it's already documented in medical journals that people who have had no Parkinson's or MS symptoms have been found to have lesions. And many Parkinson's and MS patients have been found to have no lesions. Because of this confusion, medical leaders have come up with a new test called a DAT scan test. And this new test reveals the level of dopamine in a person's body. The problem with this test, though, is that low dopamine levels only mean that a person's unhappy. Through this test, they also discovered that many Parkinson's and MS patients are seen to have adequate and even high levels of dopamine. So, no matter how desperate they get in trying to justify prescribing their pharmaceuticals, they will never be able to beat what Dr. Parkinson explains in this book and how strongly it calls for chiropractic care combined with the services of a natural autoimmune practitioner. And did he do an MRI?
Previous doctor before him had done an MRI.
And did they find lesions?
No,
No lesions at all.
no lesions at all.
States here, no bony destructive lesion is appreciated. Did they ever find lesions in the test?
Start with you.
No lesions.
With the paperwork.
Sorry? In the brain or on the spinal cord? What is the name of the neurologist who carried out your diagnosis?
Pedro Guajardo. He's in Monterrey, Mexico.
Dr. Pedro Guajardo?
Yes.
Did he do an MRI on you?
Yes, he did.
Did he find lesions?
No, he didn't see anything abnormal.
Nothing abnormal on your MRI?
Nothing abnormal.
So then how did he arrive at the conclusion that you have Parkinson's disease?
He asked me to do a couple of things, like to walk, and he saw my face. Because of the symptoms, he was...
From the symptoms, right.
Yes.
And you realise that every symptom that you have can be caused by excess muscle tension and misaligned skeletal...
Yes. I changed neurologists after that, and they did me some more tests. DAT scan to measure the production of dopamine in the brain. She concluded that the results were in accordance with having the Parkinson's disease diagnosis.
Right. Could you tell me your full name?
Shivika Johar,
Where do you live?
Toronto, Canada.
How long have you been in the wheelchair?
2 years.
What is the name of the neurologist who carried out your diagnosis?
Dr. Lee.
Did he do an MRI to see if you had lesions?
He took one MRI when I was diagnosed.
That time in 2008, no lesion
No.
in the brain.
Your first MRI and you had no lesions.
No.
No.
How bad were you at that stage?
Like she was walking, like
Holding balls.
holding balls or with a cane.
Right.
Then they did another MRI in May.
Then they found lesion in the brain.
Many lesions?
No, there is a lesion.
There is a
There
lesion.
is.
And he took another MRI, still lesions increasing.
Were you in a wheelchair at that stage?
Yes.
Yeah.
You-
He took another MRI in January this year, 2010, but it was stable.
There was
But
no lesions?
no lesion at all.
Not
He said
one
no.
lesion?
No.
Okay, so now, are you able to stand up on your legs and hold your body weight standing? You can't.
The only thing that they used to diagnose me was the brain lesions, the
Yeah.
MRI.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that Dr. Bell used. In fact, when we went to see him this last January, a year later, didn't give me another MRI, didn't even ask me to walk, didn't check my pulse, didn't check my neck. Zip. He just sat there in the chair.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, I asked, why are we not doing another MRI? And I said, what if there's more lesions? And he says, sometimes more lesions doesn't have anything to do with the symptoms, so there would be no point. So my question was, okay, so the lesions aren't always associated with the mobility. So how can you diagnose somebody based on lesions when you're saying that doesn't interfere with mobility? So he was kind of contradicting himself.
Yeah.
We won't do another MRI because it won't make any difference, even if there's lesions, because they may not affect him. So
They may not have anything to do with
they may not.
the symptoms you're experiencing anyhow.
Right. So when Dr. Bell diagnosed me in September, end of September 2011, all the way till that, which was over a year had passed, he put a doom and gloom death sentence on me.
Do you have a loved one diagnosed with Parkinson's disease or any of the other diseases listed previously? If so, in my opinion, you will have been told a number of blatant, big pharma lies designed just to sell drugs, and whilst the medical doctors you rely on to help you most likely don't even realise that they were trained at medical school to be an important part of this worldwide drug sales scam. These diseases are not incurable, but they can only be cured through a combination of a specific type of massage and chiropractic, a blood cleansing diet, normalising endocrine release patterns, improving respiratory and digestive efficiency, and most importantly, by making sure muscle tensions and oxygen saturation readings on one side of the body are much the same as those on the other. And that last step is absolutely essential in order to put a patient into remission. But doctors and neurologists aren't allowed to know this, because what medical leaders hold over their heads is if they get out of line, they'll be struck off the medical registry. It was after being threatened by 4 health officials for helping a patient overcome HIV using ozone combined with my B18 reversal program that I decided to do everything possible to expose these big pharma lies that cause millions of people to suffer every day instead of them getting the help they were looking for when they went to a doctor and placed their trust in medical care. Once this muscle stiffness hormone noradrenaline affects the muscles on one side of the spine more than on the other, and you'll see photos of that on your screen now, that unevenness causes a twisted pelvis, subluxations in the cervical spine, and a spinal curvature or scoliosis somewhere in between, which then causes patients to lean to one side or hunch forward, and it subsequently squashes nerves of the brainstem and spinal cord and nerves that exit the brainstem and spinal cord to cause every single symptom associated with Parkinson's disease or any one of the 23 rigidity diseases I cover in my free book, 23 Fake Diseases, which you can download right now from my website, noelbatten.com, and review all the medical journals I quote from and the patient x-rays and case histories I describe, along with other things that I present in this book, as proof that these 23 diseases are fake diseases designed just to patent and sell more drugs. So now I'm going to show you absolute, indisputable, beyond any doubt proof that tremors and other symptoms of Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis and essential tremors, as well as any of the other fake diseases I cover in this book, including Stiff Person Syndrome, are not caused by dying dopamine-producing cells in a gland of the brainstem called the substantia nigra and a subsequent lack of dopamine, or by myelin degeneration, or by any type of mystery incurable disease. If a doctor or neurologist told you the tremors you are experiencing are caused by a mystery underlying incurable disease, do not listen. It's very easy to prove that this is a big pharma lie designed just to keep patients suffering and reliant on their drugs so that they don't stop taking those drugs right up until the day they die. The truth is, all these symptoms, including the tremors you're about to watch me stop, I mean completely stop, in just a matter of seconds, are all caused by hormonal musculospinal abnormalities that cannot possibly be corrected with pharmaceutical drugs. And even Dr. James Parkinson himself declared that way back in 1817 in his famous book, An Essay on the Shaking Palsy. If Carlos's tremors were from death of the dopamine-producing cells in his substantia nigra and a subsequent lack of dopamine, as his neurologist told him, every single time I stretched Carlos's neck, and at the very moment I stretched it, his dopamine-producing cells would have had to instantly come back to life and make adequate dopamine to supply his whole body, then every single time I let go, his body would have to use up all that dopamine and kill those newly rejuvenated dopamine-producing cells. Now, anybody, even with the slightest amount of intelligence, would know that this is a complete impossibility. And after me being told by Fiona Simpson MP, Shadow Minister for Health in Queensland, at the time that I showed her my success videos, that the Australian government isn't interested in a cure for Parkinson's disease and MS, I believe the vast majority of health officials in most of the countries of the world are suppressing the cures for these diseases. Obviously, there must be some sort of an agenda that suits them to do this. While on the other hand, these patients just keep on going through their suicidal suffering year in and year out, with no one of authority giving them any degree of sympathy whatsoever. Watch me do the same thing again with Parkinson patient William, and then afterwards watch William's tremors stop again when he turns his head, which also takes pressure off the nerves in his neck that are causing his tremors. I'm going to push on that C1 vertebra again. Let's try from the other side. So that slowed it down, didn't it?
Yeah.
Your arm tremor's still there, I can see that in your hand there.
Okay.
So when you turn your head to the right, that tremor pretty much stops. Okay, turn back again. And it starts up and gets worse again.
Yeah.
Now turn to the right again just to confirm that it is helping. Definitely. All right. Now I'd like you to listen to William explaining how his neurologist told him to keep taking his pharmaceuticals even though they were making his tremors worse. So you were taking 3 Midopa, 125 grams each.
Yes.
Didn't stop it, slow it?
No, if anything, they speeded it up. That's why I phoned up. I said, look, these have made it worse.
Yeah.
He said, they do tend to do that when you first go on the tablets, but he said, then afterwards it should slow down. The next time, he said, I am a bit disappointed that they didn't help you more than what they have. I said, oh, they haven't helped me at all. So we've got 5 relatives who are all doctors, and they said, look, you know, those tablets, they're not a good thing really. You know, after 5 or 6 years, they won't have any effect at all. Yeah. So they've got a blinking effect now.
Yeah.
And they said,
but your neurologist said even though you don't feel an effect,
take them.
You should take them anyhow.
Yes.
Turn at the waist and look behind you at the wall. All the way around. Turn it all the way around with your waist. That's when your legs slow down. They start to slow down. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Wow,
there you go.
Amazing.
So it is. Now see how your tremors are coming back. Now let them come back. Well, when they've come back just as much, we're going to do it again. Turn around again and see if that changes the right around. There you go. Immediately. Immediately makes a difference. If you stay there, turn a bit further,
There you go, it's nearly stopped.
There it is there.
Now it's stopped completely.
This is my husband.
There you go.
I'm so happy.
Okay, now.
Oh,
Just relax, what's wrong?
Right.
You got a cramp? Well, we're getting the nerve signals going, aren't we?
You squeeze it and it cramps.
Let it go. Got to find out where the cramp's coming from.
The foot.
I know it's in the foot, but what's triggering it? Does that make it easier?
Yeah.
So it's the L4, L5 disc. What I'm doing is I'm pushing it. Remember it's that way.
Yeah.
It'll shift to the left. So I'm pushing it like that, pushing it towards the right. It's eased the cramp in the foot. So we now know
It's not quite fixed.
it's the L4, L5 problem. It's not quite fixed.
Yeah.
One vertebra on top with that same shape turns like that. It's like twisting the central nervous system, like remember the Indian rope burn that kids used to do at school? That's the same as what's happening to your central nervous system with the C1 being turned right around like that.
Dad? Dad didn't feel giddy.
Okay. So this is the last infant jog you'll do with me, and you're doing real well. This is day 7, we're finishing off. I'm real proud of you, girl. You've done so well. Okay, that'll do you.
Even had a little chuckle and not a grin.
Right. See how your hands are shaking? I want you to take a really deep breath and hold it for really deep. Hold it for the count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out and relax. Take another really deep breath and hold it for the count of 4. Really deep. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Let it go. That's 2 deep breaths. Your right thumb is shaking a little bit. I want you to take a really deep breath again. Really deep. Hold it for the count of 4 and breathe out and relax. Now can you see how taking those deep breaths, which has put more oxygen into your system, has stopped your tremors? All right. Okay, so your oxygen saturation reading on your left arm is 91. 91, and your heart rate is 48. You have a very low heart rate. I want you to sit back and straighten up. Now you straighten up and your oxygen saturation goes up to 95 and your heart rate comes up to 49. Your posture is killing you. I want you to understand that. If you want to get better, you have to improve your posture. I will guarantee you one thing. If you can't improve your posture before you go home, you won't improve your symptoms. So you have to straighten. Force yourself to straighten up. Your oxygen saturation just went up to 99 then, when you did that. 10 points your oxygen saturation has come up by you straightening up. 10 points. 89 is dangerous. I shouldn't perhaps say dangerous, but it's very low. And when you get a very low oxygen saturation, your body can start to shut down.
I feel that here in the middle of my back.
Let's do your other hand.
Should I also? Speed.
Bring that hand over here. Yeah, that's it. Bring your hand a bit closer to me for me. Alright, so you're 98 on the hand. That side of your body is not so bad. But this side of your body, that's where your hump is. You have a hump there. And that's because of posture. That's misaligned vertebra. So what I'm going to do now is while you're standing, I'm going to work this massager down each side of your spine. I want you to tell me if you feel that uncomfortable feeling near your T4, I think it was, T3, T4, and then further down T6, T7.
A little bit uncomfortable on this side.
Just there, on the right side. Does it want to give you the sensation of coughing?
No. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, that one on the right.
Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, T5. You go down further now.
Yeah, on my right.
So that's be T7, T8.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There.
It's on the right. Yeah, on the right.
Now say T8.
Yeah.
T5 and T8.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you then. Bye, Gully.
Take a breath. Breathe out.
Bye, please.
There. That's still tender there, right?
No.
Oh, it's not.
No.
What about this one?
No, it's not there now. The pain is not there.
Okay, let's go back and do it with the massager. And now let's see if that little pain has gone away. I know it's just on the right side, but I'm massaging the spine because that pain on the right side will be caused by something wrong with the spine.
A little bit pain now on the right.
A little bit there, but this one's gone.
Yes.
So can you see from that if that area has a subluxation or a curvature, that's what you had? Yeah, so you don't have the curvature and the scoliosis is gone now.
Oh, wow.
So that means the nerves going to your lungs are going to be freed up now, which will get rid of that fluid build-up on your lungs and that uncomfortable breathing and that coughing.
Yeah, the cough has lessened now.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's just a matter of time. Keep doing what I've taught you to do,
Okay.
and talk to your chiropractor about it when you get home.
Yeah.
And I'll make up the report
Yes, please.
accordingly.
Yes.
These points up here, do they hurt there?
This side hurts a little bit.
The right side,
Yeah.
most tension is in this right trapezius.
Yeah,
that hurts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so the more I massage it, the more the pain will go out of the point. That's a nerve point there.
Okay.
Alright, so is that pain starting to go now already?
Yeah, no, it doesn't hurt.
Okay, now it doesn't hurt, so we go to the next one. Does that hurt there?
Yeah.
That hurts, so we keep working that. There's 3 main points along the top of your trapezius muscle. Is that the pain gone now?
No.
Still there?
Yeah, that one hurts.
Hey?
That one hurts. The hurting is less, but it's
Yep.
more stiff.
Okay. Alright, now we work
Now
on this
it's
one.
gone.
Now it's gone?
Yeah.
Okay. Now once I loosen those nerve points up at the base of your neck, at the top of your trapezius muscle, then the blood comes easier in this part of your back.
Okay.
Alright? And that's the part where the nerves are being hurt to contribute to your leg problems and the tense psoas muscle in your stomach, the left side. Now there's a big swollen area here, the back of your hip, where the sciatic nerves comes down the back of your leg. Now, it's all swollen. This is normal and that's swollen. So if you listen to the sound when I massage it, compared with that, that's normal. That's really swollen. Can you hear the difference?
Yes.
Alright?
Oh, yes.
That's normal, and this is extreme tension. Now that tension goes from here all the way through to your psoas muscle at the front, or in the psoas muscle in the stomach, the front of your stomach. So we have to relax all of this area, right there at the front where the psoas muscle is that I pushed on, and right from here. We've got to get that all relaxed again. Alright, so this is day 4, and listen to this. Exactly the same. So all that tension's come out of your left kidney now. The muscles around the kidney and the kidney. You've been drinking the water like I said?
Not so much.
Alright, so this is good. Exactly the same sound. So all that tension's gone out of the kidney area now. And that left kidney, so that's great. I'm just going to follow the tendons and nerves down the side of your leg and down the back of your leg now. Tell me where it hurts, if it hurts anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So that's nice and relaxed all the way down the side now. Is that sore there? No. It's a bit tight.
It was sore, but before that, yesterday, it's not
Okay.
anymore.
Okay, that's good.
It's much better than the other day.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe because I'm doing all this leg go